Welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros, and we're going to be getting into strategy, getting you guys brought back up to speed, everything that's going on with Bitcoin. We have new videos coming out every single day where you keep you guys up to date in the market. Make sure to subscribe, like for more of this content. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. But as you can see right here, Strategy has acquired 3,000 Bitcoin for around $357 million. And they got the Bitcoin at around $115,000 per BTC. And a lot of this purchasing from Strategy came from the MSTR ATM. So they are back using MSTR ATM. In my opinion, that's a good thing. They're taking 3,000 Bitcoin now before Bitcoin goes to $1 million. So in my personal opinion, I like that they're doing that. Some people don't like that they're doing the MSTR ATM because they're selling shares into the market, so it could potentially make the MSTR stock price fall. And as we can see right here, we are down today at 343. They now hold over 632,000 Bitcoin. MNAV, looking at enterprise values, at 1.62. If you look at the market cap, it's going to be lower than that. But one thing to think about here is Strategy now owns 3% of all BTC. So they needed 630,000 Bitcoin to get 3%. So now they got that, and they'll be trying to get to 4% next. So that's the next goal for Strategy. So that is the strategy update there. If we look into all the Bitcoin treasuries and what they did from August 18th to August 24th, there were 48 announcements, and they took 7.7K Bitcoin off the market, and they're holding it as a Bitcoin strategic asset. And what's really interesting about this, only 450 Bitcoin come out a day. The treasury companies by themselves are gobbling up all that supply. The main reason why the price of Bitcoin is going down here as of late, that has to do more with the Bitcoin ETF flows and all of that sell pressure there. We're going to look at that in a second here. But if this continues, 7,000 Bitcoin every single week from the Bitcoin treasuries, eventually Bitcoin's price is going to have to go up, and they're going to have to spend a lot more money to get around 8,000 BTC. So this is good for Bitcoin. Obviously, Strategy is leading this effort as the biggest Bitcoin treasury company. And as just for an example here, guys, Metaplanet, they acquired 103 Bitcoin just the day they announced this. So Strategy is still not the only one buying. We have a lot of other companies buying BTC. And this is the Bitcoin ETF flows. They're not in today yet. The market is closed, but we haven't got any numbers back yet. But as you can see, the whole last week, we looked at this weekend, that there were just massive outflows last week, around $1 billion of outflows for BTC. And that's why the price has come down. And if you look at where the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is right now, it's at 47. If it keeps going down, we're going to quickly shift from greed, which we saw a lot of in the past month, to fearful. So when things are fearful, that's when you should be buying BTC. That's when you should be buying MSTR or any other Bitcoin treasury that you have done some research and you believe in. So I want to give you guys some perspective here. This is the gold ETF. It launched in November of 2004. And for 8 straight years, gold went on a massive bull run, and it just continued to go up. We could very likely see something very similar for Bitcoin play out like this. Now, some people believe the 4-year cycles are still alive, and Bitcoin is going to top out sometime this year, and we're going to go into a bear market next year. That could happen. Or we could follow something like what happened with the gold ETF. The Bitcoin ETF launched in January of 2024, somewhere around there. I believe it was January. So if that's the case, we're going to be in a bull market until January of 2032. So we have a long way to go in this bull market potentially if Bitcoin does what gold did after the gold ETF launch compared to the BTC. And to check out the price of gold here, we can see what gold did from this 2004 period. So just comparing this to Bitcoin, gold had some pretty big crashes during this bull market. So if you look at, and got to re-record this for you guys because I realized I was not sharing my screen here, but we're looking at gold and what it's done since the gold ETF was approved back in November of 2004. And as you can see, during this bull market, gold went up quite a bit. It went up around 353% over that time period, over an 8-year window. So it went up a lot. But during that time period, you had a lot of downfalls in gold too. You had a lot of times where gold was down 25%. Another time period here in 2008, gold was down around 36%. So there are periods where you see gold going down quite a bit. Another drop down there around 20%, 15 to 20% right there. So you can see during bull markets, there's going to be pullbacks. And even if we look at Bitcoin since this bull market, since November of 2022, we can see there's been quite a few pullbacks. Right now, the pullback that we're seeing right now, we're down 11%, and that's causing a lot of fear in the market. But just back in January, we saw Bitcoin go from around 110 to around 75. That was a 30% pullback, and that was not the only one we got. Last year, Bitcoin had another pullback at around 32%. It went from around 73 all the way down to lower than $50,000. So there are a lot of pullbacks even in Bitcoin bull markets. So right now, you shouldn't really be panicking too much, not financial advice. This is why we tell our viewers to invest in Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin and strategy for a 4 to 5 year period, because if you look back, there's never been anybody who's lost money holding Bitcoin over 4 to 5 years. And we can even go back to the Pico top back in 2021 when Bitcoin was around $70,000. Bitcoin went down around 75 or 78% to the bottom in November of 2022. But if you held on to that investment today, you would be up 60% right now if you bought the exact top back in 2021, which is still pretty good. So this is why we always talk about dollar cost averaging in the strategy, dollar cost averaging in the Bitcoin. So you're still buying the top and you're buying on the way down. And then you can strategically, if you come here and you see there's a lot of pain in the market at around May of 2022, and you got to get in over the next year, and Bitcoin's at $28,000, and you hold that investment, you'd be up around 280%. So that's when you would want to go in when there's a lot of fear, a lot of panic in the market. Right now, while things are coming down, you definitely want to buy the dip, but that's more of a dollar cost average. That is our investment thesis. This is not financial advice, but this is why we always tell our viewers to invest for the long run. We were screaming for people to go all in back in 2022, 2023, but the views weren't there. Nobody was really paying attention, so nobody really listened. But I had to re-record that for you guys because I wasn't sharing the screen. Let's go ahead and get back to the video here. And here's another chart here, the Bitcoin long to short-term on-chain cost basis. Since 2022, this has been a pretty good indicator where it's calling the local bottoms for BTC. And as you can see right now, we're getting a lot closer to that. So if we move below the Bitcoin long short-term on-chain cost basis, that may be a buying opportunity for you to get into BTC at some cheaper prices there. And then wanted to share this with you guys. This is from Bitwise. This is where they see Bitcoin headed by 2035. So that's 10 years from now. They're projecting a 40% CAGR for Bitcoin in a bull scenario, and that's going to put Bitcoin at around $2.9 million. And they also have a base scenario for Bitcoin at $1.3 million. And then bear scenario would be $88,000, which wouldn't be good at all. I think if Bitcoin is $88,000 10 years from now, I think Bitcoin may have failed. That's my personal opinion there. But leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys found some value in today's video. My name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. See you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your day.